बाद की बात है ना, मतलब once you retire you can focus on this, but real life and quote unquote real life is different, right? Handling a job is different, the market is different, all of that. So he has things which
द
stay with just with me
विवेकानंद
for a very
हैंडबुक
long
ऑफ
time
एवरीडे
in corporate
लिविंग पर
So the first point
बातचीत
is,
करते हुए अंशुल चतुर्वेदी, चीफ
no man
एग्जीक्यूटिव
can
टाइम्स
long
ऑफ इंडिया
occupy
मेट्रो
satisfactorily a position for
सप्लीमेंट्स
which he is not
मॉडरेटर
fit.
कर रही हैं श्रींजीनी
By doing well the duty
कुलकर्णी।
which is nearest
आज
to
है
us,
7
the duty which is in our
फरवरी,
hands now,
ऑथर्स कॉर्नर पर
we make ourselves
बैठा।
stronger. And improving our strength in this manner, we may even reach a state in which it shall be our privilege to do the most coveted, honored duties in life and in society. Now, my takeaway from this is the basic line: by doing well the duty which is nearest to us. What we typically tend to like in any job, like even in the government system, right? If you're in the IAS or the IPS or whatever, or in the university, there are prime positions and then there are side postings. When somebody is not in a prime position, that person tends to lose the motivation to do that thing very well. And they wait for getting a prime slot. But by not doing well, the duty which is nearest to you, you do not build a case for getting a better duty. So he was very clear, and I have stuck with this no matter what role I have ever done, that the duty which is in your hands now could be anything, could be the most menial of things. But he also had another line: no work is petty. So if you think something you're doing is petty and you think something you're doing is not the grand thing you want to do, you try to do it less effectively than you could have perhaps done. And then you reinforce the opinion. It's like saying, ki, in a movie I have got a side role. We were talking about Munna Bhai right now, right? Arshad Wasi was not a hero of Munna Bhai, but he did his duty very well. So the moment you think of the film, you think of him as much as Sanjay Dutt. That is the question. But other people, when they get a side role, they act like they got a side role. The next time they don't even get that role. Manoj Bajpayee was a side actor for years and years before he became a main actor. But in those roles you have to deliver. So by doing well what is nearest to us, in this manner, you may then get things which are more relevant to you. So that the first point is to ignore the moral judgment of saying this is petty, this is small, this is not for me. Whatever comes your way, do that well. एंड इन अ ग्रैंडर मॉडल आई वुड से कि अगर आप महाभारत की बात करें कि सारे समय पांडव तीर और गदा लेकर नहीं चल रहे हैं, अज्ञातवास में और भी काम आपको करने होते हैं, वो काम भी आपको वैसे ही करना है जैसे आप योद्धा बनकर काम करते हैं. दैट इज अ फिलॉसफी ऑफ दैट्स द फर्स्ट पार्ट. The second thing, which is very generic, I think, especially the younger audience are working on today, talk about Gen Z and work models. We find ourselves in the position for which we are fit, and if one has some capacity over the other, the world will find that out too. And then I also underline this for the younger generation. He who grumbles at the little thing that has fallen to his lot will grumble at everything. He who grumbles at the little thing that has fallen to his lot will grumble at everything. Always grumbling, he will lead a miserable life. But the man who does his duty as he goes, putting his shoulder to the wheel, higher and higher duties will fall to his share. So both the lines are not about saying I will do something grand when I get my dream job. He's saying whatever you have got, whatever little thing has fallen your way, do it well, because you are sending a message, I do things well. It's not about the job. That I think is a point, because none of us will always get what he wants to do. You go to Bombay to be a hero and you get a 3-minute role in a documentary. But those 3 minutes you have to act well. Not grumble there saying, "Arey yaar, main to hero bana tha, ye kya mera ko de diya." Then you're not going to move from that space. So this battle of thinking that the world owes me my dream space to work. No, it does not owe you. What you get from that, show how you can work. I think that's the primary work takeaway. And in the larger space of things, to the older person in the work universe and to somebody like my age, I now use this a lot. And I have written this here that at 25 I did not get this point. At 45 I would always agree with it. And what he says is, I have been asked many times how we can work if we do not have the passion we generally feel for work. आठ में ज़्यादा ही बात होती है. But he says, I also thought in that way years ago, but as I am growing older, getting more experience, I find it is not true. The less passion there is, the better we work. And people don't agree with this mostly. The less passion there is, the better we work. And why is that so? He says, the calmer we are, the better for us, and the more the amount of work we can do. When we let loose our feelings, we waste so much energy, shatter our nerves, disturb our minds, and yet accomplish very little work. It is the calm, forgiving, equitable, well-balanced mind that does the greatest amount of work. So then the subhead is on the calm, forgiving, well-balanced. This, according to the monk, is the way work is actually done. And if we stop for a second and we realize that you are most tired in the days when there is drama at the workplace, not because you've done work. And being forgiving is difficult at the workplace because neither do juniors forgive the managers nor vice versa. So that universal work, for this is the man who says it is not so important. You stay calm, and if your mind stays calm, then the work you do will actually be superior to the work that comes with theatre and saying, oh my God, do you see what a busy day I've had? But that's not work, that's you getting hyper about work. Two different things.
Fair enough. I think a lot of this has been presented to us in different ways, in different nuggets, like कोई काम छोटा बड़ा नहीं होता, कर्म करो फल की चिंता मत करो, या detachment is something that you should have in every aspect of your life, चाहे वो आपका काम हो, चाहे आपके रिश्ते हों, etc. सदियों से इंसान जानता है ये सब चीज़ें, फॉलो क्यों नहीं कर पा रहा है?
It is painful to accept your feelings. Also, we live in an era of validation from people who. And so I have this debate at work sometimes that if a younger employee is say getting a bad day at work, you can react to it by evaluating what happened, or you can react to it by going back to your friend circle and saying I had a bad day at work. And they'll tell you, if you had a bad day at work, the people who handle your work must be all morons. They can't just see your brilliance. You are such a lovely worker. It must be a very toxic workplace. How dare they make you sad? So you go back and you do exactly the same thing next day because you have found validation, which is easier to absorb than to stop and say, did I get something wrong today? Should I work on myself? It is like saying कि all of us know that coke is not so great for you, right? Neither is smoking. Business बंद हो रहा है क्या किसी का भी? People do what they do. It's because it's difficult to reach out to yourself. The knowledge, I mean, on a cigarette box, you have a visual of a cancer-ridden lung. Has that stopped people from buying cigarettes? I don't think so. So why would knowing